I'm back. Welcome to 2025, everybody. Today's patron shout out goes to Frederick DN. Thank you so very much for the support. I'm not going to say let's get started because there's not much to get started with today. I just kind of want to chat a little bit. First of all, start off by welcoming you to 2025 and saying Happy New Year. Hope you are all doing well. I also need to apologize. Some of you may have noticed that I've been absent for the past 2 weeks or so here on YouTube. My wife and I took a little holiday vacation. We went to visit her family, which was a lot of fun. It was a great time. We went to New Mexico, ended up going to the New Mexico Bowl, the football game, which was fun, the Albuquerque Zoo, a whole bunch of fun stuff, and just kind of hanging out with her family too at their place. It was a really good time. However, I completely forgot to publish the post that I had written up about taking 2 weeks off at the end of the year. So while my patrons knew where I was, none of you did. So I do apologize for that. I only realized that I didn't post that post just earlier today, and I am actually filming this video on Friday, January 3rd, which is kind of silly of me, so I do apologize for that. Hopefully you can forgive me. Now, in years past, I would take this opportunity to talk about my plans for the entire year, but truth be told, I don't know what my plans are for this year. My plans last year didn't really pan out as I had expected. There's just a lot of moving pieces this year. We don't really know where things are gonna fit. My wife's career, our housing situation, our home situation. Hopefully this is the year we finally get out of this apartment and into a proper house where I can have my acoustic drums set up. However, that's actually a great transition to something that I do know is going to happen this year. And that is that I will be doing a lot more with acoustic drums and integrating them in with my synthesizers. I did a video about a month ago, I think now at this point, showing that I did have my acoustic drums, that I do rather have my acoustic drums set up at my wife's family's house, a different family, one close by to us, but I do have those set up, and I've actually been putting some pretty significant time into getting that kit fixed up and mic'd up. So some recent purchases for me lately have been a couple of the AKG P170 overhead condenser microphones. I received a Shure Beta 52 kick drum mic as a Christmas gift, which was very, very kind. So thank you to the person who gave that to me. I purchased a Behringer UMC 1820, an audio interface, a proper audio interface, which I'll be talking about why I didn't use the LiveTrack L12 for recording drums, and why I went with the interface in a separate video. I want to dive a little deeper into that. But yeah, I got some mic stands as well, so I'm well on my way to actually miking up and recording my kit properly. So be on the lookout for that. Also this month I have a couple of fun pieces of gear on the way from Polyend. So they reached out and asked if I'd like to take a look at the Polyend Synth as well as the Polyend Press. And I said yes. I'd actually been on the fence about the synth for a while, whether I wanted to buy one or not, because it did seem very interesting, and I like the price point right at $4.99. It feels like something I could feature on the channel often. So I was thrilled that they reached out about that. And the Polyend Press is also something I've been looking at more recently, actually, within just the last couple weeks, as I started to realize, that the drums were actually coming together for once, or finally rather. So I want to do things like run the kick drum mic or the output out of the interface into the sidechain input on the Polyend Press, and then use that to, well, the first video I'm probably going to do is going to be using it alongside the synth right there. I think I can do some interesting one-hand drum stuff with the synth and then the compression pedal, and kind of throw it back to the early days of the channel when I was working out of Oliver's shed with the Gresh kit. Doing some one-handed drumming, playing on the key step with the OPZ. Those were really fun videos. And those are the sorts of ways that I want to use the acoustic drum kit, by the way, so don't worry, this is not going to become an acoustic drum channel or anything like that. I just want to not always throw it back to how I used to do things, but kind of take that as an inspiration and then move forward with all the gear that I've acquired since then, which it's quite a bit. There's so many ways that I can use that gear with the acoustic drums, especially with a proper audio interface. It's got 8 ins and 8 outs. Again, I will do a separate video about that. But I don't know, there's just seems to be a lot of potential there for creating content around that setup, and it's just really nice to be back at a drum kit as well. But yeah, shout out to Polyend for sending out the synth and the press. I'm very, very pumped for those to arrive and to start working with those. I've actually been reading through the Polyend Synth manual every morning over coffee. So yeah, really stoked to check those out. Of course, you've seen it just off camera here, or barely on camera, I guess, but the Ableton Move continues to be my baby. I've actually finished yet another song that started with the Ableton Move. This time it was for the patron challenge that I held for last month. So I live streamed everybody's entries yesterday. If you're unfamiliar, every month I come up with a new challenge for my patrons to make music with, and then I stream everybody's entries at the end of the month. Last month's challenge was simply just to create your own sample and then make a track with it. So I wound up sampling something at my grandmother's house on Koala Sampler and then threw it into the Move and worked on it in New Mexico. Which, by the way, I took this with me, to New Mexico. I also took my Mac Mini to New Mexico and plugged that into a mouse and keyboard and monitor that were already there, and then just plugged this into the Mac Mini and used it as my audio interface. So I plugged my headphones into it, and the whole setup worked really well. I finished the song completely on the Move and Live Suite. And I did definitely feel the lack of, at least a 2 or 3 octave keyboard to play, but it did force me to work on my playing on the pads a bit more, my melodic playing, I should say, and I was pretty happy with how the track turned out. I might actually take another crack at mastering it, as it wound up just being a bit too bright. For my liking, I didn't have my proper headphones with me. I just took some small IEM, so I wasn't as thrilled with the final result as I probably could have been. But yeah, the point being, I finished another song that started on the Move. This workflow is really for me, and I just love this thing. Now that I'm kind of home with no trips on the horizon, I'm really excited to start getting some more samples on here to work with. I want to take a whole bunch of kits off the Razzmatazz and put them on here. There's a whole lot of inspiring sounds that I've come up with on there. There's a lot of fun sounds that I've also come up using the Perk engine on the Polyend trackers. And that's on the Play now too, yeah. Hard to keep up. They've had a lot of firmware updates lately. And I've actually got some percussion on the Microfreak, the hardware synth, and Minifreak V, the VST version of the Minifreak that I want to get onto here as well. So yeah, the Move continues to be a lovely source of inspiration for me, and I've actually got a much bigger video coming out again about the Move. I know, I can't help myself though, I just really do love this thing. And that's all that's on the table for January, really. Acoustic drum content, Polyend Synth, Polyend Press, another Ableton Move video. There is also another patron challenge this month, so I'll look forward to either participating in that if you're a patron and you want to, or enjoying everybody else's submissions if you're not a patron. Again, look for the live stream. It's typically the last Wednesday of each month. The previous stream was on a Thursday, yesterday, simply because of a prior commitment that I had made. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know how your holidays went. Let me know how you're finding the new year so far. I've been watching lots of folks' January's entries. Really cool to see people doing that. And yeah, that's about it. If you're excited for 2025, go ahead and leave a like on the video. If not, you can always leave a dislike. Also lets me know that I did a bad job with this one. Did I phone it in? Kind of, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. I'm still very tired just getting back from the trip. But I don't know. Every once in a while I like to have these talks. Either way, if you're not subscribed yet, you definitely should. We're going to have a lot of fun this month, and I'm sure we'll have a lot of fun this year. Thank you all so very much for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.